Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Mokey Yugioh deck profile for post Power of the Elements. In the latest Yu-Gi-Oh booster set, we were given the new Mokey Adrift. It is the new support that a lot of us have been waiting for. It's definitely been a good while since we've gotten a new Mokey card. I think all the Mokey cards were actually released during Season 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! So just being able to get something new for the deck and something that actually does help for the play style is a big support release there. So definitely happy with the results of the new deck. It definitely does help to focus on the play style of fusion summoning, getting out all your Mokeys, and then powering them up with Mokey Smackdown to swing into your opponent for some game-winning amounts. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. Our first go-to monster is, of course, the king himself, Mokey. Just a level 1 normal monster, but it definitely is utilized for all the different plays in the deck, whether you were to summon out your Mokey king or use it to power up some of your plays with your Mokey Smackdown, or set up even more normal monsters on the field with human wave tactics. All of them revolve around this level 1 fairy monster, so you definitely want to run 3. For the new card that we got in Power of the Elements, we are also running 3 Mokey Adrift. This card's name becomes Mokey and is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. You can also discard this card to add 1 Mokey card from your deck to your hand, except for Mokey Adrift. So being able to search out even just Mokey or your Mokey Smackdown being the very needed spell card for powering up your Mokeys. It also helps for the fact that this card is counted as Mokey, so you can then add it back or special summon it from the graveyard with cards like your Mokey king. For more special summon setup, I also run 3 Rescue Rabbit. If you can get 2 Mokey out onto the field that much more quickly, that can be 2 of the cards needed just for your Mokey king setup. So definitely want to run 3 of this card so you have that special summon taken care of. You don't want to have your Mokeys be banished, so make sure you do have an extra deck answer to use those cards very quickly. And for more of the fairy power-up, because Mokey Smackdown focuses on while you face up Mokeys on the field, if a fairy monster on your side of the field is destroyed, I want to add some fairy monsters that are pretty easy to get out onto the field. So I run 3 Agent of Creation Venus and 3 Mystical Shine Ball. Just being able to special summon out all your Shine Balls onto the field can give you the fairy monsters that will be destroyed against your opponent for you to use, then powering up your Mokeys to 3,000 attack thanks to Mokey Smackdown when either the Agent of Creation Venus or the Mystical Shine Balls are destroyed. In worst case scenario, you can also just use them for an additional extra deck summon. And I also run 3 King of the Swamp. This can also just count as a substitute for 1 of the Mokeys, but also just being able to search out your Polymerization is very important also. So having 3 of this for that search power, definitely needed. You need those many resources as you can with the Mokey deck, and I just like this for that search option. Being light attribute for the good majority of the monsters in the deck as well, I run 2 Honest. This could be another hand trap if you wish, like Ash Blossom or even Ghost Ogre. I do have 1 additional hand trap after this card, but just being able to power up your Mokeys is another way you can at least swing over some of your opponent's cards. That's why I really do like this card in the deck. And lastly, for the main deck monsters, I run 3 Effect Veiler, just another hand trap of choice, being a light monster to work with Honest if worst case scenario once up pops again, but still being able to stop my opponent's monster effects, so then I can just have the option with my other cards on the field to use. And that is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. A very important spell in the deck is Mokey Smackdown. While a face-up Mokeys on your side of the field, if a fairy-type monster on your side of the field is destroyed, the attack of all Mokey on your side of the field become 3,000 until end of this turn. So what's great is you have the Shine Ball and Venus play for destroying these cards, and then having your Mokeys on the field gain immense power because of it. The Mokeys are also fairy-type, so if another Mokey is destroyed, the other Mokeys will at least get 3,000 attack because of it, making it also just difficult for your opponent to destroy over them, but also for the fact that Mokey Adrift can search for Mokey Smackdown and add it to your hand. for more special summon power along with Rescue Rabbit, I also run 3 Unexpected Die. Just very, very useful. This can be used with Rescue Rabbit to get all 3 of your Mokey out into the field. And then if you have your fusion spell, get out your Mokey King. And for more level 1 power search, I also run 3 Where Art Thou? If you control a face-up level 1 monster, add 1 level 1 monster from your deck to your hand. And during the end phase of this turn, take 2,000 damage if you did not normal summon the added monster or a card with the same name after activating this card. So you can at least search for Mokey Adrift and gain that additional search for this card to then add Smackdown. All you have to do is have another level 1 monster on the field. It's why I like running the Effect Veiler for the added search, but also for the play of being able to use your life points. You really don't use it for much aside from your Agent of Creation Venus, so you can at least save the life if you do have to take the burn for this card. And Mokey King is another big play of the deck, so I do run the 3 Polymerization to fusion summon out that card. I run 3 because it's searchable with King of the Swamp, but there are times when you will go into Mokey King multiple times just to reset your number of Mokey's on the field. It used to be just 3, but I'll show a play at the end of the video that shows just how increased those numbers can be now thanks to Mokey Adrift. And for some of the one-ofs for the spells, I run 1 for 1. Once again, this can special summon out almost anything in the deck, but the big one to summon out is Mokey. 1 Monster Reborn just to get another Mokey out onto the field, and also just for the play of if you properly summon Mokey King, you can summon this card back into the field with Monster Reborn as well. Also 1 Call by the Grave, and also 1 Pot of Avarice, just so you have the option of recycling and reusing some of your Mokey with other cards like Unexpected Die and Rescue Rabbit back into the deck, so you can then have that draw power off of this card, but still a way to use those additional numbers of those cards I run in the deck. With the trap lineup, the only trap I run, and this number can be adjusted depending on how you want to play the deck. If you wanted to run additional copies of Human Wave Tactics, you can drop your numbers of Where Art Thou down, or even take out the hand trap option of Honest or Effect Veiler and add additional numbers of Human Wave Tactics into the deck. During the end phase of each turn, select the number of level 2 or lower normal monsters from your deck equal to the number of level 2 or lower normal monsters destroyed as a result of battle during this turn, and special summon them to your side of the field, and then the deck is shuffled. So you have the option for those normal monsters, whether they be Mokey or your Mystical Shine Balls, to summon back onto the field, which can also be in turn recycled back into the deck thanks to some other cards we run in the deck. And I like it. It's good for that setup of more fairy monsters to be destroyed than just for you to have your power up thanks to Mokey Smackdown, along with the recycle power that Human Wave Tactics provides. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. The King himself, I run 3 Mokey King. You need 3 Mokey to make this card. When this card is removed from the field, you can special summon as many Mokey as possible from your graveyard. So the big play with this now, thanks to the new Mokey Adrift, is that this card's name becomes Mokey and is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field or in the graveyard. So with this card and your other Mokeys, you can special summon up to 5 monsters off of Mokey King now from the graveyard, giving you 5 resources to use on the field. But also, if one were to be destroyed, that's 4 other Mokeys that will gain power from Mokey Smackdown, making the total over 12,000. So if your opponent has a defensive monster in the field, you can swing over with the 1 Mokey and then attack for game with the rest that you have. And also just the 3 Mokey King, because with those special summon cards, if your resources go down to, let's say, 3 Mokey, you can at least then use Polymerization to fuse into another Mokey King, and then when that one leaves the field, special summon back 5 Mokey again to at least refuel your numbers that you had initially. For some other fusion options, I do run the 1 First of the Dragon. You just need 2 normal monsters, so a bigger boss monster to rely on against your opponent, which you can easily do when you just have 2 Mokey and a Polymerization. And for the Link monsters, I run 2 Link Spider. You just need 1 normal monster, and Mokey Adrift is counted as a normal monster while on the field, so you could use this card to normal summon it out, counting as a normal monster, and then go into Link Spider to then special summon out another Mokey in your hand, giving you that resource available. I run 2, so you have plenty of normal options along with the Mystical Shine Balls. I also run 1 Link Karibo for the level 1 recycle play you do in the deck, and also 1 Salmon Almirage for the normal summon, so you don't just leave a Mokey out on the field. 1 Relinquish Anima to take my opponent's own resources. 1 Lena the Light Charmer, and 1 Hit Potion Engen for both of the light attribute cards also. And for some more Link 2 options, I run 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Barricade Board Blocker to recycle the Mokey Smackdown, and I run 1 Nightmare Unicorn. I don't run any Link 4 options. You don't find yourself going into them as much as you would just some of the Mokey King plays to hit some of the big swarm plays with Mokey on the field, but I find myself using Nightmare Unicorn a good number of times just for the shuffle back play. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, it all comes down to what you open up. If you open up a fusion card, and then let's say additionally your 1 Rescue Rabbit, and then also the Unexpected Die, that could be your setup just to get out the Mokey King with your first play. If you have any other option to get a Mokey Adrift in your hand, whether it be your 1-for-1 or even just one other monster, even just having the Mokey Adrift in your hand with this play can be a very good setup. You can activate the Unexpected Die to special summon out the Mokey to the field, and then use Rescue Rabbit as your normal summon, using that card to then summon out 2 additional Mokey onto the field. And with that and your fusion card in your hand, you have your play for the Mokey King. But the big part will also come in the form of your 1-for-1, being able to then discard the other card you had in your hand to summon out 1 additional Mokey Adrift onto the field, giving you the 3 Mokey and the Mokey Adrift for that play with the 1 you initially set up in your graveyard. You can then use the Polymerization to fuse all 3 of your Mokey, and you can even use Adrift if you want for this play. You don't have to use all of the normal monsters to then summon out your Mokey King. And when this card is removed from the field, special summoning as many Mokey monsters as possible from your graveyard. So with this option in play, you either have the option then, if you had 1 additional monster, if you wanted to keep that monster and you had another discard option in your hand to use for the 1-for-1, you could have kept the Adrift in your hand to discard for the search of your Mokey Smackdown, and then use that other monster and still set up the other Mokey Adrift in your graveyard. The only play then that you'll have to worry about with this is that you'll only have your Mokey King on the field to go up against your opponent, and you either have to destroy it against your opponent or be able to summon another monster on the field to link it away to then activate the remove from the field effect to then special summon all your Mokey that you set up in the graveyard back onto the field. And with that, you can then swing into another one of your opponent's monsters with 1 more Mokey, then using the Mokey Smackdown to power the rest of them up to a total of 12,000 attack. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. This is really an awesome deck to make. I can't believe we got a new Mokey card, but Adrift really does help for the playstyle. Maybe we'll see some new and other Mokey monsters in the future as well that can just help for the overall playstyle of what is the amazing deck known as Mokey. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.